So I think from a practical standpoint, it's really helpful to have someone to like just talk through the like day-to-day stuff with and like have some motivation and accountability. Say like, oh, I really want to like look for a new job, but I have to do the applications and work on my CV. And it's so easy to like lose the motivation to do that. So even having like bi-weekly checkpoints to do that is really helpful. Because I've said for a really long time I don't like my job, and it took like, all right, well, you just got to do it at some point. So having that I thought was really helpful. Um, and especially working at my current company for as long as I have and not really knowing like what else I want to do or like what other options are out there. All of the like values and clarity um, work that we did and exercises that we did, I found really useful and insightful to like to be able to set an intention for what I want to look for and what I think will be a more fulfilling job. And even like that I want my job to be fulfilling. Uh, to like be able to land on that and say that. And um I had something else. Now I lost it. That I think there is probably like some part of me that kind of knew what I would be more interested in or what like industries I'd rather look in or types of jobs, but having like the clear exercises to work through and you to like talk to you about it and ask questions about it and like kind of build it up, like kind of gives me the permission to like say it out loud and build what I want that to be as like an actual thing instead of just like maybe it's floating around somewhere in my subconscious, you know?
And can I share a bit of context and like your background? You're
Mhm.
10 years, you've been at your company for 10 years, you moved to the UK with them, and you have been thinking about doing something different. And one of the reasons you came to me was to figure out what that is and to have more clarity.
Mhm.
And now we were just talking about it earlier. Now you've got a bit more clarity in terms of the kind of industry that you want to pivot into, which is
Mhm.
different to what you're doing now, but still within tech. Um,
Mhm.
and you've started the application process, you've started speaking to companies, you've gotten some
Mhm.
experience from that. And also,
Mhm.
we just had a healthy conversation around energy and mindset and
Mhm.
the power of that to, manifest and bring what you want to your reality. Is there
Mhm.
anything else that you would add in terms of like your key lesson or takeaway um, that you want to take into, the next phase and continue doing?
Yeah, I think the key thing for me has been solidifying that like all of this is within my control and it is all my choice. Like I have set this intention of the type of job and the type of role and the type of company that I want to look at and that I want to work for and move to. And like I don't just have to end up in another job just to have a job. Like I don't have to just like, you know, compromise on those things or just let something happen to me that I'm just like, all right, well, like that just is the way that it has to be, or that's just how it works out now. Um, so I feel like my current job did it just kind of like needed a job and it just is the one that I got. And I really don't want that to happen again, but that is entirely within my control. I need like looking for jobs now and I'm like, all right, I don't want to work from home all the time. And they're the fully remote jobs. I'm like, well, I'm not even gonna look at that one. Like it's not even worth my time to read the description of the role because it's all remote.
So you've got more clarity now in terms of what you want, but also what you don't want, right?
Hmm.
Based
Yeah,
on,
for sure.
at the beginning, we did a lot of reflective work on where you
Hmm.
are today but also what's important to you in the rest of your life, like
Hmm.
financially, relationship wise. Um, what do you feel like you will do differently to maybe how remind me, were you looking at jobs at the beginning before we started working together? Were you already in
I
that?
like I kind of was, but just like almost in a like scrolling on Instagram way. We're like, well, I'm procrastinating. I'll just like scroll through these jobs. Like, not really with any sort of like direction.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what would you do differently now to maybe, and what will you continue doing? Or maybe even stop doing um, based on the last 6 months?
Yeah, I think to start doing is probably all the mindset stuff that we talked about today and really like focusing on that as part of the whole process.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think I need to continue with um like putting myself out there for those
Hmm.
roles, and we've worked on that a little bit in the last couple of weeks. And ooh, stop doing is a good one. Oh, I'm gonna stop doing my current job, hopefully.
Stop
Uh,
is also relating to feelings, behaviors, activities.
yeah. Um, yeah. I think like in the interviews and the conversations I've had, and we talked about this a little bit as well, like um feeling like the questions that they're gonna ask me in the interview or the like, you know, prove my success in my current role and like how I would attribute it to that role. I need to stop like doubting the success that I have had in my current role, and um not even doubting that I can do the job, because I think that's where the disconnect is. I'm like, I know I can do the job, but I have to provide this evidence that I feel like I don't have. And so I think I need to, yeah, stop, sorry, stop thinking that I don't have this evidence or whatever, this, yeah, proof that I have been successful.
And that's what we were talking about today, believing that you can,
Hmm.
because you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone was listening to this and looking at changing career or getting a job, like, do you have any advice or any feedback in terms of, you know, whether this has been helpful, whether to embark on the journey, and yeah, any advice that you would have for them?
Yeah. I think if you're really ready to do it, then this is a super helpful way to even just like get started. For me, is kind of the starting point. So I think you have to be ready to like challenge yourself and challenge what you think about your current role and where you want to be. And it's not really just about like only applying for a job. It's about, like you said, kind of thinking about how it affects all the aspects of your life and your mindset around that. So it's, you want to just apply for jobs on LinkedIn, you can do that. But I think, yeah, this is a much more like challenging, but ultimately probably worthwhile way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much. It's been amazing work.
Thank you.
And yeah, one second.